Hello viewers and a very warm welcome. You're watching the brand new edition of To The Point with your host Kriti Mishra. India is eyeing affordable indigenous COVID-19 vaccines for its massive vaccination drive. Pune-based Gennova Biopharmaceuticals, in collaboration with HDT Biotech Corporation, Seattle, USA, is developing the RNA vaccine. Gennovas will be the first indigenously developed messenger RNA vaccine, following the success of similar vaccines by Fisa and Moderna. And joining us today on the show is Dr. Sanjay Singh, CEO of Gennova Biopharmaceuticals. Dr. Singh, welcome to Sansad TV, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much for inviting me, and it's a pleasure.
Thank you, sir. So, Dr. Sanjay, first and foremost, what is the latest on the development of Gennova's COVID-19 vaccine?
So we are in the clinical trial phase. Hopefully, the clinical trial phase 1 will end very soon. And once we present our safety and immunogenicity data back to the regulatory authorities, hope we can very quickly enter into phase 2 and phase 3 defining moment for approval of the vaccine. So here today we are.
What are the timelines that you're looking at?
We are very positive that somewhere by end of August or to middle of September, we should apply for emergency authorization of use. But it all depends upon how the results are going, how the regulatory authorities are viewing it, and how looks data promising and favorable to get the approval. But as you know that we have already committed to Government of India 60 million doses by end of December, as per everybody has committed some number. Gennova has also committed some these numbers. So we are also on the other front, other than clinical trial, we're getting ourselves ready to deliver our promise.
All right, so we hope that we have the vaccines as soon as possible. But Dr. Sanjay, what is the RNA platform that you're working on? And please remember that many of us do not understand the complex scientific jargon. So if you could demystify the whole thing for us.
Very nice. So I will try my best. So what has happened, this mRNA platform has come into existence as approved and used in the treatment or vaccine just few months back. So it is a very, very advanced science, but vaccines are not advanced. Vaccine has been produced from different platforms. So first platform, you can say 80 years ago when Professor Jenner produced it from live attenuated. So you can take a virus or you can take a bug and you can somehow inactivate it and give it, and it gives the result as a vaccine because body react to that particular organism. So this is generation 1 platform. Then generation 2 platform came where you can say recombinant vaccine, where you have a genetic structure known, you know the sequence, you can make the recombinant protein, and this is second generation vaccine like hepatitis B vaccine. India is one of the top producer of hepatitis B vaccine. Then the third platform emerged around 20 years ago. This is the DNA or adenovirus-based platform. But this platform has also proven some merit just now in this COVID situation because vaccine from Sputnik, vaccine from AstraZeneca, and vaccine from Johnson & Johnson has came into existence. So this is the third generation platform. The fourth generation platform is mRNA-based platform. And here the two vaccines have been approved, which is Pfizer and Moderna. Certainly, this is the latest technology, so it has its advantages. An advantage in the term that, as I said, the first generation, you have to give the organism in some form which acts. The organism you have given, then you have given more defined protein, then you have given more defined DNA. Now we have given the most defined available knowledge, which is mRNA. So if you give the mRNA, it produces a similar kind of protein, like spike protein in our case, or Pfizer Moderna case, of virus, and body react to it and make the antibodies. So somehow, because of this innovation in technologies, knowledge in the technologies, the two advantages has come from this platform. First advantage is undisputedly mRNA platform is the most efficacious platform as of today, the vaccine which has been created. The second is, which is equally important, is ease of manufacturing. It is total synthetic platforms. You don't have to build those kind of difficult facilities where you have to grow live virus or you have to produce cells, you have to bring fermenters. So this is almost a chemical process. So synthesis of this vaccine is very easy. You can start in the morning and you can finish the vaccine making in the evening. So this is the basic technological advantage and scientific advantage, which has given such a high limelight to mRNA.
All right. So, how would your vaccine be different from Pfizer and Moderna, which are also based on the RNA platform?
So basically, the principle to act for this vaccine is same because this is mRNA, but we have two differentiation. One is we are using self-amplifying mRNA. So our doses maybe at the result source are much going to be less, and it could be very, very safe. This is one advantage because you are giving minimum possible. So it can build in by itself. And the second advantage, what we are trying to bring is that can we make this vaccine stable at 2 to 8 degrees centigrade. So for this, our collaborator, HDT, has innovated a delivery technology, and where the vaccine mRNA is not entrapped inside the ball, but it is wrapped on the surface. And there is a chemistry behind it, which is giving us some stability. And hopefully, we will come with the stability at 2 to 8 degrees centigrade. If we can bring this advantage, the dose is varying advantage, 1/3, 1/5, 1/10, anything which comes. And the second is stability at 2 to 8 degrees centigrade. I hope that we will be very happy to bring this innovation because it is very difficult to sip these vaccine at minus 80 degrees centigrade. So it is possible, like Europe and certain part of North America, you can say, and part of Europe, this is possible to delivery, but rest of the people who are out of 7 billion, 6 billion people live, it is a challenging task. So we are trying to solve that puzzle.
So that is going to reduce the logistics and the storage cost considerably, sir?
Yes, as compared to minus 80, it will. And it will make feasible in Indian kind of conditions to go to from each state to each district to each block. We will able to reach by this. If it would run minus 80, we would have not able to cross district level.
All right, so we understand that developing a vaccine is a complex task. It takes around 8 to 9 years. We've developed it in 1 year. But what are the challenges of developing a vaccine on RNA platform?
So anything doing new, you have to think about the challenges. So the first challenge is the thought process and skill set. So thought process that bringing mRNA vaccine, many people will be worried that what it will do, what kind of safety, all those kind of things. So thanks to Department of Biotechnology, if I remember correctly, I wrote my first letter to Secretary DBT Renu Swarup on 16 February 2020. Explaining very well that this is going to be a big pandemic because SARS-CoV-1 particle size was around 30 nanometer and this particle size is around 80 or 90 nanometer. So its infectivity will be much more higher as compared to any other viruses. So like polio virus is very, very small. So to infect human, it need a carrier to go. Here for SARS-CoV-2, you don't need any carrier. It can flow into the air and can infect you. And to have this kind of things, I put my neck out that Genova is ready to enter into mRNA. And at that time, mRNA, yes, something started as we started. So building the skill set, building government and regulatory agency into this was one challenge, and which I think we were very fortunate the way the government supported us. Then building the capacities, how to manufacture it was absolutely new for us. Though we started this mRNA-based vaccine program, not for this, but we started for personalized cancer vaccine. Because in cancer vaccine, there are certain big moves that happen like CAR T cells, but it costs few crores for the treatment, and which is not affordable for masses. So we feel that we can bring mRNA-based vaccine for personalized cancer treatment. So we started this program something 2 years ago, but it was more on the research side. So DBT has helped us to take further, go into the preclinical talks. We were asked to do 2 preclinical talks. This was a little bit difficult. So Moderna and Pfizer were not asked to do preclinical talks. We were asked to produce 2 preclinical talks. That has taken us around 7 months to complete that. So that was a little bit kind of difficult, but it's all right. It has reassured the safety of the platform. And then DBT also came back and supported our phase 1 and phase 2 trial. And DBT has already, based on its data, they have already supported us for phase 3 trial under COVID Suraksha. So I think one thing I will say, because I am a scientist born and brought up here, worked at one of the top centers in India, International Center for Genetic Engineering and Biotechnology, Dwight Norton Defense Institute. And then I left for NIH, and I worked in one of the best places in the world, NIH, from where the Moderna vaccine has come. The Moderna vaccine has come from NIH, from one of our colleagues. But now, in last this couple of years, I am seeing that there is a openness for modern thoughts, modern technologies, government support, and government is trying to build up an ecosystem where this kind of innovation is possible, because these kind of high advanced innovation cannot be done in isolation. We need some collaborators, we need some partners, we need government support, we need regulatory agencies to come on the platform. So those are certainly those are challenges for anybody. But here the challenges in emerging market become more because ecosystem is not there. So here I will say the DBT was very supportive, and especially the secretary was very supportive. The expert committee was very supportive. Yes, they have asked billions or thousand questions, but after giving the right answer, they were very supportive.
All right, billions of questions. That's a very interesting thing that you're telling us, sir. But so talking about the cost part of it, I know you can't reveal your prices right now, but I'd just like to understand how cost effective is Gennova's vaccine going to be?
Kriti, I will put a different perspective and bear with me. What is the cost of COVID-19 pandemic on India? The cost of COVID-19 pandemic in India in terms of economics, around more than $1 trillion in last financial year we lost. So this
unimaginable, sir. Unimaginable. True.
I'm explaining more from the science purpose. And recently, an article has been written by Geeta Gopinathan from IMF. You will see has said what kind of cost is. So one side, the cost is more than $1 trillion, along with the suffering. The second thing which has come now in the second wave, you can imagine, I don't want to go into numbers, but this was a really pandemic which stopped each and everybody in the nation. Again, we are going to pay the cost like $1 trillion. But somehow, some of our policymakers are so much insistent, what is the cost of the vaccine? The cost of the vaccine should be, what is the cost to eradicate this problem from the country? So I consider if we have lost close to $2 trillion with so many hundreds of thousands of deaths, hundreds of thousands of jobs has gone, all these, if you calculate, this is the cost. If we go to do the RT-PCR, it costs you 500, 800 rupees. But if the one dose of the vaccine or two doses of the vaccine, which prevent you from getting infected or getting sick, what should be the cost of the vaccine? If you get admitted in the hospital, the bills, you can know what enormous bills come. What is the cost of that? So basically, we have to evaluate what is the cost to prevent this disease, what is the cost to eradicate this disease. In that term, the cost of vaccine is nothing. It's a peanuts. So what has happened, what the US government did, and they were the most gainer of it, because they have almost opened the whole economy. 95% of their economy is up, because they understood the problem and they gone ahead and opened the doors for the innovations, and they selected 6 or 7 top companies and funded a few $1 billion. And because their cost was $3 to $4 trillion for loss of the economy. So similarly, if I say, if we have to immunize our 100 crore people, even the cost of the vaccine is 5,000 rupees. What is the cost? It is 1,000 times lower the cost which we have paid. Forget about the human misery and all those kinds of things. This is on one side, and I wanted to explain it very well to policymakers that they have to look the technology from this side. Now the second part comes, absolutely, because we have a huge population to immunize, and as our Prime Minister asked, that it is not the responsibility to give the vaccine to India, but we should also go beyond with this most advanced technology. So I feel that we must be competitive. Must be competitive means if a X vaccine is costing this, and if a case is this, if the vaccine is efficacy is Y, this is costing this, we have to be competitive. It should not be enormous price that tomorrow somebody will say that I will charge 5,000 or 3,000, but it has to be competitive. And I assure you, our technology might has made us competitive into this field. So I hope it will be very, very competitive.
So thank you so much. You gave us an entirely different perspective on the cost analysis of it. And I think I stand corrected on the question of what is going to be the cost, because as you said, that the cost that this country, or in fact the entire globe has paid, is unimaginable. But so the second part of it that I also like to understand is that we also heard that you're eyeing backward integration of the jab to reduce dependence on key imported raw materials. What's happening on that front, sir?
So at present, we require around 36 raw material to make this vaccine. And out of 36, we are dependent to buy like 30 from outside as of a few days back. But we were knowing that the way I wrote to my secretary on 16th of February 2020, this is going to be a pandemic and big pandemic. The similar way we predicted that raw material will be a problem. And if we have to make this vaccine in billions of doses, we have to backward integrate. So the most critical raw material for this is some of the chemicals, because this technology is so new that, so the factories, the production was very limited since 1 year before. Nobody was knowing mRNA is going to work. So you have to build the factories to produce that kind of a specific raw material. And the enzymes are most critical. So we were facing the problem, but we started backward it maybe 7 months back. So we are going not to produce enzymes for our own competitive consumption, but hopefully we will also able to ship these enzymes outside. The same chemicals will. So we have planned the whole backward integration, and I hope that if we have to immunize the whole country, we don't have to believe only on the reliance on bringing the raw material from outside. We should have our own critical raw material. This is the part. And the part two is, this is the platform. This is not only going for COVID, but many existing vaccine, which any new coming vaccine may be improved a lot. Their efficacy can be improved a lot. Safety can be improved a lot. So we are not looking only on this COVID vaccine, but we are also looking at many vaccines. And sooner you will see, I will announce many other vaccines on also side by side we initiated. So for all that, we have to build our own raw material supplies, dependent raw material supplies. And certainly as a scientist, I love that I can bring a skill set, new people, create a job, create excitement, create a new technology. So that is also a huge, huge satisfaction for me. So this is part one. The part two is that hopefully this COVID is going to give us a lot of problem, and we have already seen. So we have to also be ready for the variant. So mRNA technology is giving us edge to develop the variant. So we are producing Delta variant also for the same vaccine. And hopefully by the time our vaccine will be approved, we will be ready with the Delta variant. Because if everything goes right, as predicted, hopefully we can eradicate. But to absolutely eradicate, like polio, we might have to come continuously and give the booster doses. Or if the new variant is appearing, we should be technology ready, and by which bombard those areas. For example, if Amravati and Nagpur was showing the first cases of mutant, we should be prepared that we can curtail inside the Maharashtra itself. So it should not spread to the national level. So those kind of preparedness we also have to do. So here I'm again connecting to raw material. We have to build a stockpile for it. So when the situation comes, then we are not going to buy the raw material. We should have the stockpile available by which within 20 days, 30 days notice, we can produce the vaccine. And this is the advantage of this platform. You start in the morning, by evening, it can be ready. So this is one thing, but scaling to 1 billion doses, yes, we have to expand our infrastructure heavily. We are looking for the funding. We are talking to PE. We are talking to other organizations. Government is also very supportive. So let's see how we can produce. First thing, how to produce safe and efficacious vaccine which reach to the market. The second is how we can make it much more affordable. And the third is how we can produce 1 billion doses. These are the three long-term vision which we have in front of us.
1 billion doses, sir. My next question, of course, is on scalability. But sir, before that, you made a very important point about the Delta variant and the efficacy of your vaccine. Tell us more about that, sir. What's happening on that front?
So what's our data we have from the animals model and all the testings? So we are very confident that it should be same platform or same efficacy as my um, um, peers has developed. But this can be only tested, we can be explained once we have gone into human for phase 3. So this is part one. And secondly, Delta variant, I feel it will be must. So we started 1.5 months back in collaboration with DBT again, because DBT consortium led by DBT consortium shows this variant. So we have made that variant and it is in the animals at present. We are testing it. So hopefully this will not take that much time, because our regulatory agencies will be much more convinced, because it has gone to different testing and all that, the first version. So second version should not be. And I feel that Delta version should be just a booster dose, not the 2 dose. I'm very confident on it. And it can take care of people who has convalescent, who has come back from it, so they should not be infected. Or it can also be given on different situation if different vaccine has been given, either it's mRNA or it is the whole cell or it is adenovirus. It can be boosted. All those can be boosted, because data has already shown that convalescent people who are having natural protection, but if you boost by mRNA vaccine, they reach to the top and they are 95 to 99% efficacious.
All right, that inspires a lot of confidence, Dr. Sanjay.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Also, sir, you're talking about billions of doses. What is the kind of capacity that you have? What is your assessment of scaling up once proven effective in human clinical trials?
So in this way, you have to take some risks. So first, I would like to say that India has played a very pivotal role in last 25 years. So India is the biggest producer of vaccine worldwide. And we would like to keep that flag up. So that is the first thing. Even for COVID, yes, situations were difficult. We were coping up. Many other manufacturers are coping up. But for Gennova at present, the day we decided to enter into this venture, we decided for 100 million doses. So we are committed for 100 million doses. But because this cost investment proportion is very high for a company like us, we are a small company, but very innovative company. But certainly we have put a plan in place. So from 100 million, we want to move 500 million to billion doses. So hopefully, if everything goes well, somewhere by end of 2023, we will be in situation to produce 1 billion doses of this vaccine from Pune campus.
Again, this is the part one. A lot of confidence.
Yeah, this is the part one, and part two, a lot of other governments are talking to us that this technology can be done fill and finish many places. So we'll prefer to go to those countries where fill and finish is possible, so we can transfer to these countries, because at the end, we have seen our own nearer dearer gone. We have seen the tragedy of this. We have seen the misery of this. So one thing is that, yes, this is a problem, but can you believe that we have eradicated polio? So I believe in our systems, in our capabilities, in our government belief, we will eradicate COVID in next 12 to 16 months. This is, as a scientist, my prediction. We can control 100% this disease, but it will take 12 to 18 months.
All right, sir. Lastly, Dr. Sanjay, we understand that Government of India is promoting indigenous vaccine makers. It is providing an ecosystem for development of cutting-edge technology. Your assessment of the entire vaccination drive and the time by when the entire country would be vaccinated?
I will answer this question in two parts. The first part is this was totally new and it needed innovative approach. So till today, India is hub for pharmacy for generic medicine. India is hub for pharmacy for generic vaccine. This is a new vaccine. So we were not that much ready with the platform because we don't invest a lot on the innovation. Second thing, rewards were very limited because if we invest into innovation, that money has to come back from some systems. So now the government is very keen and supporting the innovation. As you have seen, they are, and if we don't need innovation, we cannot be that $5 to $10 trillion economy. Because if you consider, and I am a believer into it, if you take 5 companies or 4 companies, Amazon, Google, Apple, and Microsoft, these are $6 trillion economy. If countries, and this is all based on science and technology. somehow the science and technology need to be promoted 10 times more today if we have to compete. And to handle these kind of situations, they cannot be handled by any other way. This can be handled only by science and technology. We are very proud of what ISRO has done, but in biology, we need more investment, more government handholding, and more long-term planning. So now I think in last couple of years, which I have seen, maybe 5 years I have seen, that government is quite proactive listening to us, like entrepreneur like us. Government is ready to invest. Government is ready to handhold. Similarly, the regulatory system has also very open up and started supporting it. But still, if we had to compete with the best technologies in the world, like if Genova has to compete with other peers like Moderna and Pfizer, we have to get also level playing field. So those things are somehow now we are talking, government is encouraging. So I'm very positive about it. And I hope this is the new era of India is starting innovation in the area of science and technology.
Absolutely, sir. As you know, that India has always been the pharmacy of the world. But as you said, that this is going to be the new chapter in India's book of innovation, technology, and science. On that note, Dr. Sanjay, thank you so much for joining us and all the very best for your endeavors and the rollout of your vaccine.
Thank you. It is an honor to have you here. And thank you very much.